Howdy folks, just wanted to do I guess kind of a video on, in a way, all the tools that I frequently use for just general home repair, and really a lot of the bigger items that I used when I did the you might say the addition or remodel upstairs here. So you might, it's going to be hard to say this is what everybody needs, and there's so many tools out there that it's impossible. But I think this is a decent list to get people started on stuff that might be needed. If they're ever doing a big project or even just a little project, fixing a leaky faucet, sink, something like that. So I guess with that said, I'll kind of get into this here and get through my list and as quick as I can. So I kind of broke it down to essential, budget for, and nice to have. So obviously first we got the common sense factor. If you don't have much of that, you probably shouldn't be messing with anything. You might want to just call all that out whenever something breaks around the house. Anyways, so common sense, got to have a good beverage with you at all times. Because some of that stuff can get frustrating and takes a lot longer than you think. So anyways, but in all seriousness, screwdrivers, obviously, right? That should be in any homeowners, any apartment owner, anybody who owns really anything should have a good set of screwdrivers, various sizes, lengths, socket set, wrench set, open end wrench set, vice grip, that there tool, that one can save you and really get you out of a bind in a lot of situations and be used for a lot of different things. Heck, I've got my vice grips right now in the main house, just clamped onto the basically the flue dampener on my wood stove, just to get it at the perfect angle. I mean, you can use those things for everything. So adjustable wrenches, obviously a tape measure, knife, good set of channel locks, and obviously here we've got name brands, right? That's a name brand, but also what they're commonly referred to, right? So a good set of channel locks, doesn't have to be an actual channel lock brand, but it's nice because those are made in the United States. Hammers, not just a hammer, but hammers. Small ball peens, nice. Framing hammer, large sledge, medium, like 4-pound sledge, dead blow, nice to have. Handsaw, definitely, and just sandpaper, something like that if you need to just kind of do a little fine tuning on something, or just something real basic, right? Sandpaper is kind of always handy. So I'll kind of just run over here real quick and kind of highlight some of the stuff I talked about there. This wrench set came in a plastic thing initially, but those would never last. So this was actually given to me when I was young and has served me well, and I've added a lot to it over the years. But just a good old tool set with lots of sockets, all your drive sizes, your open-ended wrenches, got all those in here, tons of them. Gotta have those. So we talked about your adjustable wrenches, crescent wrenches, gotta have those, definitely. So screwdrivers, now this isn't the best set, but works. So you got your Phillips, your flatheads, different lengths, different sizes, so that's nice. Tape measures, it's nice to have more than one. It's nice to have maybe 2, maybe 3 of them, because if you got somebody helping you, it's just nice for everybody to have one, and it's not, it doesn't hold you up. Just a standard tape measure. I seem to go through them pretty quick. But this one actually is kind of fancy. I just found it, and a lot of old timers probably give me a lot of hell for this, but this thing is the bee's knees, you see. So let's just say, for easy math, right, you want to know where the halfway point of 5 inches is. You go down to the bottom, You see it where on the left there's a big bold 2, and then you move over right below the 5, and you're at 5.5. So that's kind of neat. So especially when you get way out there and you're after kind of a long day and you're like, what the hell is half of 64 3/4 inch? You can just go out and you have it right in front of you and you see it right there. So that thing's kind of nice. Anyway, so, you know, knife, we're just talking like a basic utility knife. You know, basic utility knife. You can get one of these fancy ones. Those are nice as well. Hand saws. Let's see what else in there. Vice grips. Kind of, we talked about those, but you know, just basic hand saws, right? That would be basic hand saw. Let's see here. Now, hammers, like I mentioned, maybe a small little, even like a 8-ounce ball peen, and then, you know, framing hammers, little sledge, dead blow, nice to have there. So now, things I would suggest budgeting for, you know, whenever you doing anything, especially if you just own a house or just buying your first house, I think it's a necessity to have a drill. Now, whether that's a cordless or corded drill, I really don't think it necessarily matters unless you're doing a lot, or maybe you have a lot of things you could be working on that aren't near an electrical outlet. For instance, you know, before I moved up here to this house, I just had a corded drill. Much overkill because it's a hammer drill in Milwaukee. But, you know, it could do about anything you could ever want it to. But obviously the damn thing is heavy. And, you know, if you're using it for more than about an hour, you start to get a little bit fatigued with it, especially if you're one-arming it and things like that. So just a good solid drill. I would spend the money and get a good one, right? Because you drop them. You know, the trucks, obviously, you know, they hold better with the better drills, in my experience as well. But especially if you go cordless. Now, a light, so whether that just be a flashlight or something like the Milwaukee light there that, you know, I talked about in a previous video. The circular saw, that is a necessity in my opinion. It's kind of hard to distinguish between budgeting for an essential, depending on what you're doing, but you got to have a circular saw. Now, I like the corded ones because, you know, just you're not dealing with tons of batteries all the time. And typically if I'm using one of these or needing one of these, I'm somewhere that I'm kind of in a stationary location cutting consistently and not moving it frequently. But having a corded one would be nice as well. But I mean, spend 80, 120 bucks and get yourself one of these. I've had this one. I think I paid like 60 bucks for it back about, oh geez, maybe somewhere's around 2004. And I've had to basically, I mean, the cord's been cut on a few times. It's been dropped off a 12-foot ladder when I was building the deck, and it still works just fine. So, and it's nothing really that fancy either, just a little Hitachi. So, hole saws, drill bits, gotta have a ton of those. Now, buy more than you need is my advice there in terms of drill bits. And depends on what you're drilling. If you're just drilling some basic wood and some sheetrock, maybe like this is just some cheapo freight or Harbor Freight drill bit set. And this thing's been nice because this has more sizes than about any other drill bit set, and these are cheap. So they're almost disposable, but they also work good. Now, if you're going to be drilling through any type of metal, you're going to have to step it up to some better bits. And so I always have different types of drill bits depending on what I'm drilling, because these drill really nice in metal, and that's about what all they drill really, really well in, and that's all I want to use them. Now, hole saws, gotta have some hole saws. Now, best hole saws I've found, there's lots out there, but I've just been using, what are they? Linux drill hole saws, I believe, a little kit I bought. Every once in a while, I think Lowe's runs a good deal on there's a kit. Where is it? It's over here. Run that kit. I think the normal price on it's like $100 some, but you get a bunch of different sizes in there, and those I have drilled through more pieces of plate steel 1/4 inch with those when I was building all my bumpers. Those things are the bee's knees. Square and related items. So square, obviously just a carpenter square. Now you can do a framing square too, 12 inch, which would be nice to have as well, but you know, unless you're doing everything, you know, a whole lot of big projects, I think you can probably get away with just having the little one. Now in related, so you probably want your T-square right there. Even if you're not doing drywall, just helps with a lot of things, getting things squared up. You know, tons of things. You put up against a wall and square up some, I don't know, a wall, a cabinet or something like that. You know, just various types of good straight squares, straight edges, things like that. Now, let's see here. What else? Levels, kind of tying right in. Once again, assorted. So I got a 4 foot, a 2 foot right there. Nothing fancy. One of these days I keep telling myself I'm going to buy a nice couple aluminum ones, but still haven't done that. Now as far as I got the 4 foot, the 2 foot, which I think are really necessary, but having a couple of small magnetic ones are really nice as well. Like this guy, even you can rotate this depending on what angle you want to set it at, and it tells you on this other side, and then at that point, you know, really helps you. So magnetic ones are nice. Having a couple of them are even nicer. So, you know, keep them around. Now you've seen them here a minute ago, but line levels, you know, this one's designed so you can get some slope, and then other ones are designed for just leveling on a string. So string or line level there. Definitely very nice to have. Now, files, punches, chisels, that's pretty self-explanatory. Spend some money and get a good set. Yeah, enough there. Clamps, where are my clamps? Oh, of course, my damn clamps are just used them the other day. So these, I think they're the bar clamps or beam clamps, something like that. There's some little teeny ones of them, but having a bunch of those is nice. They're expensive, but they will save you, especially if you're working by yourself a lot. Now you can always get, like, you know, C clamps, things like that, but those, you know, various types of clamps is what it boils down to. Sawzall. Now to me, once again, that's a brand name, Milwaukee, but to me, having the Milwaukee is the only way to go. Basic corded recip there, but I love that thing and had it for, I think, since around 2004, maybe even earlier, 03. And that thing has been used and abused, you know, building fences for 10 years and cutting all types of metal. And I mean, you got to have one. And I think just go with the Milwaukee. They're not overly priced for how well they're built. Got to have various extension cords, and you don't want to cheap out and get them just little, I don't know, cheese dick cords. You know, you want something that's got a decent gauge to it, especially if the longer you get a thicker cord, so you don't have all the basically the loss, parasitic loss throughout the cord. Voltmeter and related, so you know, you got to have a good voltmeter. And related would be a basically non-contact electrical tester. Very nice, handy. I've got a couple of them. Here's one or two. I mean, you know, you just flip them on and come over to your outlet and get close to it, but if it's hot, it'll let you know, you know. Those are nice. If you're doing electrical, just some type of outlet tester there, you know. And once again, you know, just every project's going to be different. Some of this stuff you might never use if you never get into this, but a lot of it can be pretty handy. and save you a lot of money. Let's see here, prying tools. So whether it be just a big type of pry bar, you know, something that's 2 foot, 1 foot, 3 foot, or even some more trim type tools, you know, where you can get behind you like your baseboards and pull things out. Those are well worth it. Buy a couple set of those and you'll be set. Caulk gun, you know, obviously you can caulk without one. I do it a lot, but if you have any type of substantial project, that is the way to go. And with any type of house, I feel like caulking is pretty inevitable at one point or another, whether it be, you know, the exterior type siding stuff or you know, just some stuff in the bathroom every couple of years. So pipe wrench, now that one there, I would almost move that over to the essential list just because it is such a, you might say, a MVP of tools in a way. You know, if you're stuck on this, like when I go out off-roading, you know, I always bring my pipe wrench because you can do so much with that tool. It's so versatile. Or I bring a couple of them actually. You know, they're heavy. You can grab onto just about anything with them and really get some good leverage. And hell, you can even, you know, they've got some good metal to them. You can even use them as a hammer. Not that you really need to, but avoid, so you know, like I said, when I go off on a trail off-roading, avoid bringing so many damn tools. A couple pipe wrenches, you can do a lot with those. So good pipe wrench, I think. Shop vac, you know, I would almost move that to the essential side, but for if you're just kind of in this category of things, you can probably just get away with your, you know, your regular vacuum and a broom and picking up some of the stuff by hand because it's not going to be that frequent. All right, so the nice to have, must have for large project list. Belt sander. You know, you don't have to go crazy, but I do use the belt sander a lot. It's probably one of my, as far as my corded power tools, it's probably my third or fourth most frequently used, just for odds and ends, and even just, you know, put an aggressive belt on her and you can really grind down quick on some material. Air tools. So that would, air tools in general, I'm going to say air compressor. So I got, you know, we got the little one and then the big one's over there. Nice portable one is nice. You got, obviously I have air hoses, but you got all your different guns you can have for them, right? I mean, you got your framing, stapling, brad nailers, all that stuff. So though that is, you know, we get, you know, get basically blow air, clean yourself off, clean off a project after. Cutout tool, that is awesome. Expect a video on that right there. Cutout tool, gotta have one of those. Drywall cutout tool if you want to be specific. Table saw, miter saw. You know, the table saw, I've just got a portable one and it's worked great for me, ripping in all the material I've done. I can't really imagine doing my project that I did without one. So if you're doing a project kind of like I did upstairs, I would not even be attempting without a table saw. So there is the table saw, guys. Just a Hitachi, nothing crazy, but it's pretty easy to move around, especially by yourself. You know, the wheels big enough. I mean, this thing not had any issues with it really at all. So yeah, having a table saw around just wonderful, especially if you're doing stuff by yourself a lot. So, oh man, it's cold in there. All right, so now what else do we have? So we had the miter saw. I would not buy one unless it was at least, you know, unless it was 12-inch, right? I got a small one outside, and it's not in here right now. It's in the other garage because I was just using it, and I got it as a gift, a hand-me-down, and so I'm still running it. But my God, I wish I would have bought a 12-incher before I did all of this stuff with this project. Whew, yeah. Anyways. Just the cut depth is such a time savings. So angle grinder. That is probably my second, maybe third most used tool, corded tool. Just have a Milwaukee down there. It's just an angle grinder, nothing fancy. But that thing I use all the damn time. Sawhorses, you know, once again, that's on the list of, it's nice to have, but, you know, you can get a lot of things done without a sawhorse by propping things up on various things, right? Either be lumber, tailgate, what have you. But having a couple sawhorses is nice. Maybe at least 3 in my opinion. Now, saw stand. So once again, if you have a miter saw, get a stand for it. Oscillating tool. I don't have one. That is on my list of things I'd really like to have. But I think that if I had one, it would have made everything upstairs that I've done here hell of a lot easier, you know. So the other thing is a pickup. I don't know how anybody does anything without a pickup. I have absolutely no freaking clue. I have crap in the bed of my pickup all the freaking time. So how people, any homeowner does anything without one, I'm not really too sure. But maybe, you know, we all have different lifestyles, I suppose. Yeah, so what do I got in here right now? Just a gas can, some water. Oh, I had some materials. Oh, a little blood. Yeah, anyways. I need to clean my ball off. There's a little greasy. All right, so, yeah, anyways, pickup. String line. Very handy. Get things lined up, whether, you know, you're doing footers, a little walkway. I don't, you know, there's so many things you can use a string line for, especially when you have a line level to clip on it that we talked about a little bit ago. Chalk line, then even plumb bob with a string line, you can put something on there. So, but anyways, chalk line and a stud finder. Now, stud finder, you know, some people might label it as essential. You know, I've gotten through life without a stud finder a long damn time, you know, so it's nice to have, but they're cheap, so you could just call it an essential tool if you wanted. But yeah, so that's kind of, you know, just an overview of things that I think anybody really, you know, any real homeowner that actually tries to accomplish a lot of tasks by himself, you know, needs to have. So gloves, that goes without saying. I don't even think you gotta, you know, put that on the damn list, but you need lots of gloves, you know, look at that. You gotta have thick gloves, insulated gloves, rubber gloves, latex based, oh, and then rubber gloves, you know, disposables. Now, whenever you're doing a big project, you know, get yourself, once again, a good cordless platform. I just happen to have the Makita. Impact driver is really nice for time savings, having that and a drill or 2 drills. That way, if you're having to pre-drill holes, or you got 2 people with you helping you, or you got a couple different types of fasteners you're using for the same like instance, then that way you're not switching constantly out of the truck. So I think having multiple, if you're doing a big project, multiple cordless, you know, drills, impact drivers is a very big time savings. You know, having a good set of bits is absolutely essential. Now, what else? You know, whenever you're doing something like this, just you especially where I am, you know, it's, I don't know, 10 miles to the closest store, and then really 35 minutes to the closest big store for any type of materials. And this is what I call my fastener bench, right? I got enough fasteners here ideally to do just about anything, but I always constantly run into shit that I'm missing. So if you are not in the, I guess, in a position where you can just run out and get stuff kind of like I am, it's nice to have a ton of different fasteners on hand, because you're constantly going to be using different stuff. You know, I've got cabinet screws, they got big heads to them. You got drywall screws, different lengths, different different thicknesses. You got all your different types of nails for your air tools. I mean, just so many different types of freaking fasteners that you need for, you know, drywall nails, deck screws, different lengths, different sizes, galvanized, you know, interior, exterior. I mean, you could literally spend $1,000. I mean, there's no doubt in my mind that this project, in the last 12 months, I've spent it in excess easily of $1,000 on just bolts and screws and nails, without a doubt in my mind. And whenever you're doing stuff like that, you can't just run out, of the house, and because you realize, oh shit, I don't have that one damn screw, I ran out. So buy more than you think you need, and you always use them. So, anyways, there's those, and having along that line, having various nuts, bolts, fasteners, things like that on hand save you a lot of time, because you don't have to just be running out to the store. Oh, I need a 1/4 inch, by 1 1/4 screw or what have you. It's such a time savings. I got plumbing valves. I mean, I've got hangers. You're right. You just having various stuff on hand is just fantastic. So, I guess I'll leave it with that, because now I'm kind of talking about materials rather than tools. But as any homeowner, I think this is back to our original list. And if anybody has anything else, feel free to comment below, or if you disagree with something, think that I definitely missed something that you use all the time, I'd like to know what that tool is. Or yeah. So appreciate your time, and thank you. Have a good night.